Welcome everybody to Very Important Geeks, where today we are going to be talking about the just announced Sony FX3 Cinema camera. Sony has been on a roll this year, first announcing the Sony Alpha 1 and now the FX3 Cinema camera. And before we get into it guys, please consider dropping a like, dropping a comment, dropping a sub. That really lets me know what sort of videos and content for me that you like, so I can keep making more of these for you. Now let's take a quick look at what this camera is and who it's for. Essentially, the Sony FX3 is the Sony A7SIII guts with a cinema camera body and features built on top of it. So you're going to be getting the back illuminated full-frame XMOR sensor, the Bion Z XR processing, 4K at 120, not 8K like the Alpha 1, but that would be weird because none of their other cinema line cameras are capable of 8K either. And you're going to be getting S-Cinetone. More on that later. The FX3 is going to have an effective 10.2 megapixels for movies and 12.1 effective megapixels for stills, with a total of 12.9 megapixels overall. It's going to have low light capabilities on par with the A7S3, with ISO going as high as 409,600. And gone is the EVF. Instead, you get a 1.4 million dot LCD screen. Now, the audio interface allows you to capture 2 channels of 48 kHz 16-bit audio. And it does it all in a digital format, making use of the multi-interface hot shoe. And even though it's a cinema-focused camera, it is capable of shooting stills, up to 10 frames per second of continuous shooting, and single shooting modes as well. It has all the real-time tracking capabilities of the A7S3, in-body optical stabilization, as well as active mode stabilization. And if the in-body stabilization is not enough, it does have metadata to support Catalyst Browse if you want to stabilize it in post. Full-size HDMI, unlimited 4K 60p recording, and it uses the larger capacity NP-FC100 batteries. And you can also power it through USB-C with power delivery port. I'm here to answer the question of who is this camera actually for? It really seems like Sony has taken the solo shooter in mind. Everything about this camera has sort of been built and tweaked for the solo cinematographer, both behind and in front of the camera. Number one, for most of us, I know especially me, is price. It's $3,900 coming out of the gate. Pre-order starting now, with it available in March. And if you don't balk at that price, then maybe this camera is for you. If it's not, you can probably just stop watching the video right now. But also watch the video, I need the views. 2. Have you been holding off on buying an A7S3? If you've been looking for a more video-forward camera, this is definitely it. So you really get all those cinema-forward features like S-Cinetone profile, a total of 6 quarter 20 mounting points on the body, 3 on top, 2 on the sides, and 1 on the bottom. A built-in fan to keep it cool, even though overheating hasn't really been an issue on many of the newer generation Sony cameras. There's dust and moisture resistant, and it also comes with an audio interface handle that can handle XLR and TRS inputs. Number 3. Are you a solo shooter? Do you often find yourself running and gunning both behind and in front of the camera? Well, then you get nice little features like tally lights that you can see the recording status from around all sides of the camera. On-body zoom controls, the smaller form factor, so it's lighter, it's quicker, it's mobile, you don't have to have a cage around it if you don't want. And of course the flip out and rotating screen. And kind of importantly, even though the audio interface handle is included with the purchase of the camera, the microphone is not. So you still have to purchase a separate microphone to be able to really use that audio interface. And now let's talk about Cinetone for a little bit. The Sony Alpha 1 was the first non-cinema camera to bring the Cinetone color profile into the body. And now the FX3 will also have Cinetone. But through an email leak, we also found that Cinetone is coming to the A7S3 in a future firmware update. So if Cinetone was your deciding factor between the FX3 or the A7S3, it's probably a non-issue now. Final thoughts. It's so very close to an A7S3. I mean, it's got all the internal guts inside. It's just got extra features like the mounting points and the handle, which I think really covers the $400 difference. Now, if you could get just the body for the same price as the A7S3, I would say I would definitely wait for the FX3. But if I could save $400 and get kind of all the features plus S-Cinetone coming in a firmware update for the A7S3, I would probably just stick to the A7S3. Save that money, get a nice small rig cage for your A7S3, and you've pretty much got everything that the FX3 has. Thank you guys again for watching the video. Leave a like, leave a comment, leave a sub if you want. That would really help me out. And until next time, geek out.